Okay, Year 12, so you're doing your coursework at the moment. This week you're doing your drawing task, the long drawing, and I wanted to show you Aisha's work. She was an A-level student who finished this year. You can tell on the first page she's got the classic mind map that you would do with your coursework project, and then it's full of drawing, and this is what you're trying to build up with your theme. She obviously did portraiture, you're all choosing your own theme, but the 5-hour extended drawing that you're doing this week, this is to go on your first page, so I want it to look really good. It'll be the first thing the examiner looks at when they look at the coursework. The coursework is 25% of your overall A-level grade, and we need to do it by December. It's actually 50% of your AS, because you'll do this project, and then you'll do another one in January, which is like an exam project. And then that goes into the actual overall A-level. So it is important that you build up a really strong drawing, okay, that you've really worked your hardest on, and it's going to be on the front page to show the examiner really what you can do. Just so you have a little bit of foreknowledge of what's coming, because I know some of you have said, how does this fit in? I wanted to show you through a coursework project. So, over here you've got the initial ideas with portraits. Now she's taken them into mixed materials. So she's got some chalk, she's got some clay work, she's got some watercolour, she's got some pen drawing, mixed materials. Now she's looked at artists. So she's looked at the artists, but she hasn't necessarily copied the material. So there's a little original there. You don't need to do that big because it's just a printout, but it does give it context, okay? But then what she's done with it is she's chosen material that she thinks would work well. So this artist actually was an oil painter, but she did gouache and then she explored some oil pastel. And by the way, remember it's not just, this is a kind of copy, but putting some of her own style in. But also you're doing other faces in the style of the artist. Turning over, this is now going back to her main idea about portraits, but having a little bit of an individual angle or stance on it. So she'd quite like the idea at this point of cracking. So she's gone back to objective 1 about the cracked eggs and done some lovely observational drawing and thought about how a face might break apart. Okay. Again, back into the artist. So you can see it goes back and forth between the assessment objectives. She's taken a photo and she's worked in the style of artists that use a lot of linear work, just to show a diverse approach to her A-level. If we turn over here, again, she's looked at the skeleton in the art room, but she's linked it to veneer, which was a artist who did vanitas. Vanitas means life and death. So she's bringing in some art history with some direct observation and experimentation. Going into digital art, but in a very, you can tell she's doing it in a very painterly style, so people have different techniques and approach to that. She's explored grayscale here, monotone colours, really exaggerating the light and shadow. And again, if you look in the corner, she's drawing upon photos she's taken herself. She actually took those in Venice of some skulls that look like they're masks. Okay, and she's linked in the cracking. So what's she done? She's explored a new technique, she's explored art history, and she's pulled in the work that she did from her own direct observation. And now at this point in the project, your work tends to get a little bit bigger because you may be choosing a specialised way of working or material. She liked this watercolour way of working. So she's scaling it up a little bit and really thinking about her colour schemes and how she's going to put it together. She's doing miniature versions of alternative angles, thinking about the composition as well. And now we're really coming in towards the last little bit of the story here, where she's thinking about her final piece. Look here, this is like a slightly bigger version of thumbnails, so little concept studies of what her final piece might actually look like. And this originally was going to be her final piece, but we felt it needed more substance. And just to be scaled up a bit more, you can do maximum A2. We don't tend to go below A3, but she did actually do A3 and she got an A star. Just before I show you the final piece. The cracking became very important, but she felt the cracking of the shell needed to be taken a bit more savage and brutal, so we actually used the idea of cracked mirror, and she did lots of exciting gathering of ideas in photography. So even on the last stages, you can go back and gather more direct observation and images that aren't just your standard, images off the internet that anybody else could look at and gather. And here is her final piece. So when you look at that, you can see all 4 objectives have been pulled upon, and that's why she got an A star. She's got evidence of recording from first observation. It is actually a self-portrait. So she took the photos and she drew from herself. She's got evidence of exploring materials and techniques because she had explored this watercolour and actually gouache she used in there as well. So she's experimented and developed her skills. She's explored different ideas as well of the cracking, and all of that has got evidence in the project. Okay, and finally she's developed some influence from the artist, but definitely done a unique and personal response. So I hope that helps you think about how you're going to get all of the objectives individually, but then pull on them towards the end. At the moment this week you're focusing on your extended drawing. If you have a strong foundation with that, even if you don't like drawing, A, it's going to keep the examiner happy, and B, this is why Aisha did so well. Even though it's a painting at the end, she drew upon, if we look back at it, all that lovely strong information she got from gathering from first hand in the first place. I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing your work this week. Work hard.